Boz Scaggs is an American singer, songwriter, and guitarist from Texas. He has played and sung in a variety of styles, from blues rock to soft rock to blue-eyed soul. His career has spanned from 1963 and is still going, but with several breaks. He is best known for the hit Lido Shuffle. He was briefly a member of the Steve Miller Band. He was instrumental in forming the band Toto. They were the band that he used for one of his albums called Silk Degrees, and he has released 19 solo albums so far. Hi, my name's Dan. This was the second album by Boz Scaggs, and I have reviewed this album before. So before I was doing video reviews, I had a blog, and I was reviewing from a different list, but it was still a kind of greatest albums of all time list, and this appeared, and I have reviewed it. So this is now a re-examination of this album, as far as I'm concerned. I would describe this as being, kind of country blues rock. It's described by Wikipedia as being blue-eyed soul. I can kind of get that. There are elements of soul of the time here as well. And Americana, it says, and that's kind of I take that as being a kind of umbrella term that means things in the kind of American folk country blues, uh, bluegrass and all those kind of things, New Orleans jazz and Cajun and all sorts of things. So it is in fact quite diverse in style, and it feels a bit like a portfolio. And somebody going, yes, I can do this style, I can do this style, I can do this style, and all kind of centralized around this kind of Americana idea, but quite different. And in fact, I don't think there are any two songs that I would say are similar in style for this. The band here are the Muscle Shoals Band from the Muscle Shoals studio in, I believe, Sheffield, Alabama, with the addition of Dwayne Allman, who is a guitarist who became more well known through the Allman Brothers Band. At this point in time, he was just putting that band together. And he plays lead guitar on this album. And the band, I have to say, are really on it on this album. It's a great feel to the music. It's. Um, I feel like, so I'm going to talk about it being singer-songwriter in a little bit, but a lot of singer-songwriter stuff of this period and coming up kind of over the next half decade um, have this kind of diversity that this album has, and were musically decent, but didn't necessarily have as much just great feel to it that this does. But the Muscle Shoals Band were legendary for just being a really strong band and being on it. This includes there's horns in here as well, so that means brass instruments. And it's them more than anything that brings the word soul into the mix is the use of brass here on the album. My favourite track is probably Loan Me a Dime, which is 12 minutes of rambling slow blues with at least two changes of time signature in and feel. It's got a very Eric Clapton kind of laid back, long blues, slow hand feel to it, and it really showcases Dwayne Allman really well. It's got long instrumental sections in it. Um, so, I said I was going to talk about it being singer-songwriter. The diversity of it is what makes it feel like a singer-songwriter album. This kind of point in time, there were a lot of people producing albums where they were kind of picking and choosing. It was like a chocolate box of different styles of what they would put in. Um, but in other ways, it doesn't feel as much like a singer-songwriter album. So it's the singing is fine, but it's not distinctive. And in fact, occasionally I'd say it's a little on the weak side. Sometimes he sings in quite a country way, which is acceptable in the setting. I'm known for not being a huge fan of country. The songwriting, so if that had been the focus here, then the songwriting is solid musically, but everything feels like something else that was better known. Now, some of those tracks, when I kind of listen to it and go, oh yeah, that sounds like such and such, are songs that came after, and some of them are songs that came before, and they're quite in some ways, that when it's picking these different styles, it's almost like it's being kind of stereotypical in those styles somewhat. That doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's less distinctive than it could be. And then the lyrics. This is where I think it was the weakest point of the album. So they're mostly somewhat uninspired, quite kind of, normal stuff about life and love and things like that. There's occasional flashes of something that's a little bit better, but a little bit either more interesting or something where the wording is slightly more arresting and clever. But that's balanced out by more than the same amount, slightly more, I'd say, flashes of cliche in there. When you go, oh, what really? You're going to pull that one out again, are you? And okay, this is 1969, so maybe it's not as cliched in context then, but listening to it now, it feels like is the lyric writing is quite formulaic generally, I think. And some of it's all right. So musically, it's good. I love the band. And the songs, so the songwriting is mixed. That's what I feel about this album. So, as always, I'd love to invite you to tell me what you think about this album. So, please do by leaving a comment. And that's it from me for now.